Welcome back. Now, we all know there is a Benjamin Spock's book to turn to when a baby turns colic. But for those of you who feel that books like Chicken Soup for the Parent Soul simply don't tell you the half on parenting, here's some more coming from some of the city's top child counselors and neuro practitioners. My colleague Pratiksha Ramkumar brings you this insight. Often confused on how best to handle your child's tantrums, or worried why the second child is not walking as early as your older one did, or good heavens, not as smart as the neighbor's kid? Well, counselors tell you not to hit that panic button.
ஒரு காமன் மிஸ்டேக் பேரண்ட்ஸ் என்ன பண்ணுறதுன்னா, தான் என்ன மாதிரி வளர்ந்தோமோ அந்த மாதிரி தம் குழந்தைகளை வளர்க்கணும்னோ, அதர்வைஸ் வாட் ஐ டிட் நாட் கெட் மை சைல்ட் ஹேஸ் டு கெட் அப்படின்ற திங்கிங் இருக்கும்போது எய்தர் too much of freedom or too little freedom.
In fact, if you want to be a smart parent, talk to your child. Don't scream or just lay down rules expecting them to be followed.
0 to 5 are the formative years where children learn about themselves, the world and people. So parents will have to be talking to them in a very encouraging manner, not giving them don't messages but converting them into do messages. Then they need to appreciate the efforts of the child.
In this session, what I learned is we have to understand about the ability of the child. And what I understood is we should be a child to the child and we should not be an adolescent to the child.
Nobody has come up with a perfect formula for bringing up children, but parents say sessions like the Roots to Fruits held this Saturday are good substitutes. In Chennai with Pratiksha, Evelyn Matthew for NDTV Hindu. Well, joining us with some more inputs, especially if you are a parent, is Ms. Saras Bhaskar, counsellor and founder of Chennai Counsellors Foundation. Good evening and welcome to our studios.
Good evening.
First off, we are living in a day and time and an age where parents, couples are making a conscious decision when to have children so that they can dedicate the time and the attention. But is time still a big challenge we are dealing with these days?
Absolutely. We are having a lot of shortage of time, especially when it comes to the affluent lifestyle or even a comfort that we want to have in our life, where it's going to involve both the parents having to go to work and also the family system going through a major shift where from being having a joint family system to a nuclear family system, or a joint family living in their own apartments in a big apartment complex. They call it a joint family, but then each have their own kitchen and other facilities. It does create a barrier where the time is less for the parents to spend with the children.
Now, in that special program, that parenting carnival, as you call it, you are dealing with different, age groups, parents with children of different age groups. Which would you say is the most challenging?
The most challenging, I would say, is right from the child is born until the child is ready to fly off of the nest.
Always,
you know?
Right? Always, children are a challenge.
But then the most complicated is, especially for the first time parents, would be the 2 to 3 years, because it's almost like their nerve cells are firing all these neurons and they have all these abundant energy, seeing new things, learning new things, wanting to feel new things. So it's a lot of physical work for the parents, but then the emotional or the psychological work task for parents come during the pre-adolescent and teenage years. In olden times, I call it olden times because what it is now was not the case about 10 years ago. So pre-adolescent stage is a stage where the transition from a childhood to an adolescent is happening, and that can be a turbulent period both for parents and for the children.
Now, parenting obviously does not come with a manual, as many books as we have on that, but you really need to be in that role to feel it, right? Since you mentioned the whole adolescence and the teenage years, we are living in a time when young people are very rebellious, are known to be and called rebellious, and some people, most parents have a tough time delivering to them because they have their own set of demands. We are living in a consumeristic society when the PS2s are there and every teenager's got a BlackBerry in their hand. Do you think from peer pressure we've moved to parents who've got their own peer pressure in a time?
It goes both ways, as you rightly said. You know, the parents want to get all the gizmos that their colleagues or the relatives or family members have got for their children,
Yes.
and they want to equate with, you know, with regards to this show off or the you know, show and tell type of thing.
Yes.
That is something that parents go through, and certainly, as you rightly mentioned, that the teenagers, the youngsters, go through the same pressure, because if their classmate is going to have an you know,
The latest gadget, for instance,
gadgets,
yes.
and they certainly would want that for themselves, because they are easily tempted, and resisting temptation is the toughest task in the teenage
And
years.
so parents need to know how to say no now. Is that also something that you are
in
looking
fact,
at?
before saying no, what we would encourage parents is to take some time to talk to the children about what is possible, what is workable, what is practical, rather than giving into the whims and fancies or being too tough about not giving them what they desire. So in all reality, what it requires is time, patience and effort to sit and discuss with the children. And in fact, you put the questions and elicit information from them in a manner that it applies more logical and practical for them, either to postpone their desire to buy the thing, or let me share some of it so that I can also be responsible for the gadget that I want to own.
Right.
You know.
Also, you know, at this point, since we hear so many cases nowadays of sex abuse and, you know, children, young children being abused, as much as Tamil Nadu is being always, you know, termed as the conservative state, do parents today, have they reached that kind of a comfort level where they can sit with their children and talk to them about sex, talk to them about abuse? Is that also an area that you're looking into?
We are looking into, in fact, I in my profession deal with a lot of cases of sexual abuse, and honestly speaking, the parents are not ready to be talking to the children. I'm not asking them, we as professionals are not asking them to talk in detail about the abuse, but we do want them to educate and sensitize them about some violations. Violations are undesirable contacts that the children are not comfortable and pleased with. So as early as 3 years old, we would want the parents to talk about the good touch and the bad touch, appropriate behavior and inappropriate behavior.
Alright.
But with counseling emerging as a major a part of profession in mental health field, parents are more comfortable if we talk to the children. We don't mind doing that because we want to safeguard their psychological well-being.
Right. So parents, if you've lost all hope, well, there is hope for that being on the same page with your child. At least people like Ms. Bhaskar can come to the rescue. Thanks very much for being with us in our studios tonight.
Thanks for inviting me in.
When we come back, the votes have been cast and the stage is set. It's now only time for the curtains to rise for the NDTV Hindu Lifestyle Award.